Assalamu alaikum everyone, I'm Kamal Mahboub, you are welcome. We still talk about the kingdom of life and we still talk about the organisms, and as you know, as we say before, now we have 6 kingdoms and the scientists will classify all organisms in our earth in 6 kingdoms that are bacteria, archaea, protists, fungi, plants and animals. Okay, now that are the 6 kingdoms do we have, and we take most of them, and as you see here, when we moves up, the organisms will become more complicated. If you look over for bacteria and archaea, for example, you can see that most of them made up of one cell, and when we moves up more, the cell will become more complicated. If you look over for the plant, for example, you can see that the cell of the plant very complicated. We have a lot of organelles inside the plant, and the plant can make a lot of process, and also the plant is very important for our life. In this session, inshallah, we will focus on the animal kingdom, and in this session and next sessions and all of the session become, we will focus on this very amazing and very huge group, the animal kingdom. But now, the big question for all the kingdoms we will ask at the beginning: how the scientists can classify the animals. Of course, the first thing the scientists try to think about is how can we classify this group? Maybe by similarities or by differences, maybe by another ways, but we have something very important to understand at the beginning. Now, most of you think that all of the animals will look like cows, donkey, cats, monkey, and like that. Most of you think that, but in fact, that's not right. We have a lot of animals, you can't see them. We have a lot of animals live under the water or under the soil and like that. Okay, now why we will put sponges, for example, in the same animal kingdom? Most of you shocked when I said that the sponges will be in the animal kingdom, but in fact the sponges will share the same characteristics of all of the animal cells. All of the sponge can't make their own food. All of the sponge will search for food or like that. All of the sponge don't have a cell wall for the cell and like that, guys. Now, as you see here, now in animal kingdom, all of the animals share the same basic characteristics, because that you can see a lot of organisms in this very huge kingdom. Okay, now let's take some ways to classify the animal kingdom. Now, at the beginning, we can classify the animals in the animal kingdom by their symmetry. It means part of the human body or on the animals, I mean, and this part match with another part. By the way, guys, of course, the scientists put the human body in the same kingdom of the animal kingdom, because some characteristics in the human body will share the same basic characteristics of the animals. But I hope if the human body will be the owing kingdom, because we have a lot of things not like all of the animals. We have brain to think. We have another things, a lot of things not look like the other animals. Anyways, let's focus on the symmetry. As I told you, symmetry, if we make line in the middle, it will divide the two parts. These parts match with another part. We have two kinds of symmetry. Symmetry by line, side by side, and symmetry by the midpoint. If you take a look for the jellyfish or starfish or sea urchins, all of them have symmetry by midpoint. If we make point in the middle and make lines from this point, you can see that all of these parts match with each other. Okay, this is the symmetry by midpoint. In other hand, we have another organisms without any symmetry, like sponges. If you take a look for sponges, for example, the sponges no symmetry. If we try to make line from any part, no symmetry at all. Now, sponges, no symmetry. Now, we have 3 kinds or 2 kinds of symmetry: by line, by midpoint, and no symmetry like sponges. Okay, now let's take another way to classify the animal kingdom. The second way to classify the animal kingdom is by backbone. Some of them have a backbone that is called vertebrates, some another without backbone that is called invertebrates. Now, vertebrate with backbones and invertebrates without backbone. What do you think? Which one will be more than the other one? Vertebrate will be more than invertebrates or the opposite? Most of you think that, of course, vertebrate. Because if you go to the zoo, you can see that a lot of animals with backbones. If you look for the lion, tiger, monkey, birds, fish, all of them with backbone. Because that you think that vertebrates will be more than invertebrates. But in fact, it's not right. Of course, invertebrates will be more than vertebrates. Invertebrates, approximately 95% of all animals will be invertebrates, but you don't see them. Some of them live under the water, some of them very small. They are different sizes, different shapes, different characteristics also, and because that you can't see most of them. And also because something called ecosystem. Invertebrates should to be more than vertebrates, but we will talk about that in another session, inshallah. But in this part, invertebrates will be huge group, very huge, bigger than vertebrates. We have approximately 95% will become invertebrates animals. Okay, and in the second part, inshallah, we will focus on the groups of these invertebrates. The scientists divided these invertebrates into 8 groups. We will focus for each one of them individually in the second videos, inshallah. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time, inshallah.